Hello, I'm Mark J. Boone, Assistant Professor in the Department of Religion and Philosophy at Hong Kong Baptist University. This is a video abstract for my first published article in Epistemology, Proper Function and the Conditions for Warrant, published in Philosophia Christi, the Journal of the Evangelical Philosophical Society in 2012. In this article, I consider Alvin Plantinga's Epistemology, and with a little help from Lawrence Bonjour's critique of Plantinga, I suggest a revision. Interestingly, people who read Plantinga sometimes miss some of the major points. Plantinga, in the book Warrant and Proper Function, which I think you can see on the shelf behind me, tells us what he thinks warrant is. Warrant is that which makes the difference between knowledge and mere true belief. Ever since Plato, epistemologists have understood that just believing something true is not enough for knowledge. You have to believe for the right reasons. You have to have something to connect truth, to connect belief to truth. Reason or evidence, or as Plantinga says, warrant. And he defines warrant on page 19 of Warrant and Proper Function. And then he defines it again on pages 46 and 47 of the same book. In both cases, he defines warrant in terms of something I'll refer to as proper function. That's shorthand, though, for several conditions. He says we have faculties for knowing things. And in order to have warrant, our faculties have to be functioning properly. They have to be faculties aimed at true belief. They have to be reliable. And they have to be functioning in the right environment. Now, on page 19, Plantinga suggests that proper function, these conditions for proper function, is sufficient for warrant and necessary. But on page 46 and 47, he says it's necessary and does not say that it's sufficient. So, here's a question. Which definition is the real Plantingian definition? And here's the answer. Read my article to find out more. The answer is pages 46 and 47. But you don't really need to read my article. All you really need to do is read the chapter titles. The first definition from page 19 is in a chapter called Warrant, a First Approximation. The second chapter, which gives us the definition from pages 46 and 47, is titled Warrant, Objections, and Refinement. So, of course, this is the definition that supersedes the others. I explain this in my article, and I explain how the second definition is the one that you really get from elsewhere in Plantinga's writings. In particular, if you look at another book on the shelf behind me, Warrant, the Current Debate, you'll see that Plantinga critiques a number of theories in epistemology, and the nature of his critiques is such that he shows that proper function is always necessary for knowledge, and sometimes sufficient. Well, that means we need a more thorough definition of warrant if we're going to describe the necessary and sufficient conditions for warrant. If we're following Plantinga anyway, we have to observe how the proper functioning of our faculties is always necessary for warrant, but only sometimes sufficient. To be a little more precise, reason itself is a faculty. And we have faculties for knowing things, and sometimes they give us more direct knowledge. You know, if we can just perceive something to be true, if you could just perceive that there's a plant next to you, or a book next to you, or just know directly that 2 + 2 = 4. Maybe you don't need any evidence for it. In this case, the proper function of your faculties is necessary and sufficient for warrant. In other cases, you might need to have evidence. Most of the things we believe, or at least many of them, probably most of them, do require some evidence. We have to have some understanding of the reasons for our belief, the logical support they have, the true propositions which are good evidence for them. We have to have that. But this reasoning, reason as a faculty must be functioning properly in order for this reasoning for our beliefs to work. So in these cases, warrant is necessary. Proper function is necessary, but not sufficient for warrant, because you also have to have justification or evidence. So in my article, I explain this, and I try to give a more precise definition of warrant, following Plantinga, but refining and trying to be a little more thorough. Now, in this article, I confess I made the mistake of not accounting for Gettier problems. The problem is that I had not at the time studied Linda Zagzebski's analysis of Gettier problems, and so my article is a bit lacking in that area. The definition of warrant I give may be a fine improvement on Plantinga's definition of warrant. It may be more detailed, but it does need some adjustment in Zagzebski's direction. I refer here to Zagzebski's article on Gettier problems, a very important article in epistemology. Still, I do recommend my article rather strongly for anyone who wants to understand Plantinga's epistemology. You should be able to get it from Philosophia Christi if you have access to that journal. Alternatively, you should be able to find it on my academia.edu profile. However, the version there may not have the correct pagination. Thanks for watching.